Do you love the NASCAR Xfinity series? Did you just answer yes to that question? Did you just answer no to that question? Either way, come November of 2025, you're wrong. That's right. No more Xfinity series after this year. Okay, not really. But the actual name itself, the Xfinity series, it's not going to exist after this year. There will be a new premier partner or a title sponsor of NASCAR's secondary series at the end of 2026. It's really 2026. They're not going to change it mid-year. Point being, Xfinity is leaving that aspect of NASCAR, but they will continue to sponsor NASCAR as one of the four brands, organizations, corporations that is a premier partner of NASCAR for the Cup Series. And there's a new rule that will be sponsored by Xfinity. I'm not making that up, by the way, but it's actually kind of a cool rule if you ask me. So let's talk about it. Comcast's Xfinity telecommunications brand will end its title sponsorship of NASCAR's second-rung series after 2025, but only while renewing its broader premier partnership of the sanctioning body for multiple years and with fresh strategies. The moves will be announced today. By the way, they have just been confirmed in like the last 5 minutes before I made this video. And they cap months of negotiations that had long been predicted to end with this result. Xfinity became the title sponsor of the now Xfinity series with the 2015 season when it replaced Nationwide. But that came as a part of a stroke of corporate synergy as its sister company, NBC, began airing NASCAR races again, including the Xfinity series the same year. That deal was valued at roughly $200 million over a decade, between $10 million in annual rights fees to NASCAR and $10 million in yearly activation commitments. Xfinity also became a premier partner of NASCAR in 2020 when the racing property ended its title sponsorship program and switched to one more akin the models used by the NCAA and IOC, giving Xfinity two separate deals in the sport. While NASCAR has moved away from a title sponsor model for its top-rung Cup Series in favor of premier partnership system, it's set to hit the corporate market starting today to find a replacement for Xfinity, and thus is expected to keep the title sponsor model for the second-tier series, according to Brian Herbst, NASCAR's EVP and Chief Media and Revenue Officer. The new assets in the renewed premier partner term for Xfinity are highlighted by an unprecedented rule change that will impact the field of play in NASCAR. Starting this season, NASCAR will introduce the Xfinity Fastest Lap, which will award 1 point to the team and driver with the fastest single lap recorded each race across all three of NASCAR's national series. The program is similar to one that was just retired in F1 and is somewhat comparable to contingency prizes that NASCAR awards. However, the typical contingency programs in NASCAR don't involve giving points out in races, making this asset unique. Also new under the extended term, Xfinity Mobile will become an official wireless partner of NASCAR, while Xumo, a fast service from Comcast and Charter, becomes an official video and streaming partner of the sanctioning body. GMR Marketing is Xfinity's agency of record for sports. So then it goes and continues on to kind of just break down more of the stuff in this article that was just mentioned, but a lot of changes here. The biggest one, well, that's the thing. From one aspect, the biggest change is going to be the name of the second series, which was formerly the Nationwide Series, formerly the Busch Series, then it was the Xfinity Series, and now it's going to be the question mark series. We don't know what it's going to be in 2026 and beyond. But Xfinity had a good run from 2015 to 2025. It was the title sponsor. It was a well-known brand. Everyone knew it as the Xfinity Series. Very easy to tell, very unique name, unique colors. They really bought into NASCAR. You know, all the Xfinity drivers at the end of the race or the end of qualifying, they say, hey, our car was as fast as Xfinity Internet, which drove some people crazy. But hey, they did a great job. Their branding was everywhere, and then they ended up continuing to invest in NASCAR when, as this article said, they became one of the four major partners in the Cup Series. Remember, NASCAR is no longer the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, the Nextel Cup Series, the Winston Cup Series, the Sprint Cup Series. It's just the NASCAR Cup Series, but Coca-Cola, formerly Geico, no longer Geico, Xfinity, Busch Beer, I think that's it. Maybe? I might be missing someone. They are the premier partners of the NASCAR Cup Series, and their branding goes everywhere. They're the official, for Coca-Cola, the official beverage of NASCAR, Busch Beer, the official beer of NASCAR, Xfinity, the official internet of NASCAR. Really not sure actually there, but something like that. But it's a big deal to lose them. And this was, as this article said, it was anticipated. They've been in negotiations. I think they just tacked on 1 year for 2025 to give NASCAR some more time to go find another sponsor. But as for the Xfinity series itself, the racing itself, this does not impact the racing itself with Xfinity no longer sponsoring the series. But it is a big deal. It's going to be a name change for a NASCAR National Series. And it's not like the Cup Series. When the Cup Series lost Monster, not everyone was confused. Like, oh my goodness, what's that series called again? What's it? It's the NASCAR Cup Series. But for the secondary series, it might take some time to get used to. When the Truck Series went from Camping World to Craftsman, that name had formerly been there. Craftsman had previously been the name of the Truck Series, and so that was kind of an easy transition for fans. So if this secondary series goes to, let's say, I don't know, the NASCAR Sunoco Series. I got these Sunoco flags all around my room. But if you see the NASCAR Sunoco Series, it might take a little bit of time to get used to it, but that's a well-known brand. I don't know who's going to end up replacing the Xfinity Series, who's going to end up paying that paycheck, but it'll be interesting to see how that develops as the year goes on, to see how that new sponsor buys into NASCAR, whether it's the Premier Partnership, whether it's the Fastest Lap program, which we are about to get to in a minute, or whether it's doing the Xfinity Dash for Cash. And, rather than Xfinity, it's the Bass Pro Shops Dash for Cash. I don't know what the new sponsor is going to do, but how much do they invest into the series, invest into NASCAR? Now for this next little bit, I gotta admit, I really like this. NASCAR's going to have a new rule this year, and for a while at least, you get a bonus point. I have missed bonus points so much, so much. I've talked about it in years past. There used to be rules where if you led a single lap, you got a bonus point. If you led the most laps, you got a bonus point. So people, during a pit cycle, drivers and teams would intentionally stay out like an extra 10, 15 laps just so they could lead a lap and get an extra bonus point. Not making that up. That was a thing. Well, now there's a new bonus point. Oh, I just love saying it. Bonus point. If you get the fastest lap in a race in the Cup, Truck, or Xfinity Series, you get a bonus point. That's right. And it's sponsored by Xfinity. So they're giving up their Xfinity Series deal for the fastest lap. Gotta admit, I really like this. This is really fun. This adds initiative. This adds some drama, maybe, to the points. But some tracks, it's not going to make sense. Like the super speedways, you're not going to know, okay? Everyone's going in a pack. Everyone's going fast. Like, you're not going to know who's going to get the fastest lap there. But it could play a bigger impact at the road courses. It could play a bigger factor in the playoffs. We could see some team strategy get played in. At the Charlotte Roval, the elimination race, if a car is 31st, they're 8 laps down, the car behind them is 23 laps down, and there's 6 laps to go, and they need 1 point to make it, and their car only had a mechanical problem, so their car is actually fully in shape, but they fixed the mechanical problem. Well, with 4 laps to go, they're going to pit, put fresh tires on, and they're going to make some qualifying runs because they know they can't lose a position, and that fastest lap could advance them to the next round. Or on the flip side, let's say Kyle Larson is 1 point out of the playoffs. And let's say William Byron's already been eliminated. He's out of the playoffs. Well, if Kyle Larson needs a point off of, let's say, Brad Keselowski, and Larson cannot catch someone, Hendrick might pit William Byron to go get the fastest lap. And some people's reactions might be, oh my God, that's race manipulation. No, Because William Byron is trying to get a point for himself. He is actually pushing really hard. He is trying 100%. He's not slowing down, going to hold up Brad Keselowski like we saw at Martinsville last year. He is not intentionally wrecking anyone. He is going and attempting the fastest lap. It's kind of unique, kind of cool. F1 does have a similar system in which the fastest lap, and that's a bigger deal in F1 because the most points you can get in a race is 25, and also the fact of, only 10 guys get points, and you have to be in the points to get that bonus point. But point being, in NASCAR, I'm just really excited to see how it plays out, how much it impacts the championship itself, and then also to see what different people do to try to get the fastest lap. Will you pit with 8 laps to go at Vegas just to get an extra point when you're running 33rd? Just in case you need that bonus point late in the season. Will you, pit at a road course with 4 laps to go? At 4 laps to go at Watkins Glen, you're in second place. Third place is 40 seconds behind you. This is an extreme here. Why not pit and get the fastest lap? Get some fresh tires. Try to get that fastest lap. You're going to maintain your position. You're going to have fresh tires. Let's see how it works. So I personally really like this change. I'm a big fan of bonus points. That makes sense, and this makes sense. Now, once again, the super speedways are going to be confusing. No one's going to be able to keep up with it. But I hope they have a ticker like F1 that shows a purple box or something that says fastest lap, car number 7. Car number 14, car number 63, things like that. So also my first thought was, man, if this happened in the past, could you imagine in October of 2022 when Chastain did the Hail Melon, the fastest lap graphic popping up after he did that? I just thought that'd be really, really funny. So in conclusion, I'm very curious to hear what everyone's thoughts are. Of course, on the internet, the first thing I saw was someone called it a gimmick, and I was like, no. A gimmick would be if you had a point for the fastest lap, but you don't get the point unless your entire team eats 30 tacos in 5 minutes, something like that. That would be a gimmick. Getting the fastest lap in the race, I'd say that's an achievement. That's something impressive. It's never been talked about in NASCAR. The Xfinity Racing Twitter account tweets who had the fastest lap of the race, and sometimes they bring it up during the race, but there's no impact. No one remembers. No one really cares. Well, guess what? Now people are going to remember. Now people are going to care, especially when it comes down to winning the regular season championship, advancing in the playoffs. If someone has to pit with a few laps to go get that fastest lap and get that one extra bonus point to advance or potentially win a championship, well, a regular season championship. By the way, note, this does not apply to the race at Phoenix for the championship 4 because the normal points don't apply to Phoenix. So it does not actually impact the championship race. But anyways, how much of a big deal that would be? Last year, just this last year, Kyle Larson lost to Tyler Reddick by 1 whole point. Could you imagine if Kyle Larson had the fastest lap in that Southern 500 and ended up winning the regular season championship by getting the fastest lap with 3 laps to go or something? That would have been a big deal. That would have been really cool. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. I love this change for the fastest lap. I think it's really cool. As for the Xfinity Series title sponsorship, sucks to see them go, but they're still in NASCAR for multiple things. The fastest lap, premier partner of the Cup Series. So I'm curious to see who replaces it. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be someone already in NASCAR? Are they going to bring someone from out of NASCAR? Once again, very curious. But thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow we have a mystery video, so that'll be fun. Saturday we have a Shane Van Gisbergen season preview. Sunday will be my full season preview and predictions. So that'll be fun. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.